further ado, we have Emily with Aerial Aura, and she is going to be presenting. And take it away.
Well, hello, my name is Emily. My company is Aerial Aura, and I hang from my ankles for your entertainment. Literally. I am an aerial acrobat. My company is composed of other aerial acrobats. And we just started the company officially last year. I went and purchased a rig and a lot of expensive acrobatic equipment, and we started promoting ourselves as performers. What aerial acrobatics is? How many people have been to a Cirque du Soleil show? Crystal's in town right now. Okay, great, a good number of you. Aerial acrobatics is comprised of the silk, the trapeze, straps, hoop. Basically, if there's an apparatus dangling from a point, it is an aerial acrobatic apparatus. I do a lot of these. If it's above the ground, I really like to do it. So, I just went over the kind of apparatuses that we do. I just obtained a specialty apparatus, also a sphere, which is really cool. And we do solo acts, we do partner or duo acts. And we perform all around the state and regionally, sometimes in other states. We do a lot of festivals in the summer. We've done Parker Days, Strawberry Days in Glenwood Springs. We did the Chili Fest down in Pueblo. That was a lot of fun. We've done fundraisers. We do corporate parties. And birthday parties is our new push. We can come and set up probably in your yard, unless you have a fantastically high house, during the warm months and teach little mini lessons on silk or hoop. And then you can take pictures of yourselves or your kids in these cool aerial poses. So that's my latest thing for this summer. Sometimes we do unusual events. I'm trying to break into the wedding market. I think that there's a wonderful opportunity for entertainment in between the finishing of the ceremony and then the bride and groom actually arriving at the reception. That part when everybody's milling around wondering when they can eat. You know? It's time to be entertained. Besides performing, the other part of my job is coaching aerial acrobatics. And it's a part I really enjoy. It's been very rewarding for me. I teach ages 7 up. Basically, if you can still walk, I can teach you to do at least a little bit on an aerial apparatus. I do beginners through advanced, and I do classes or private lessons. Here in Colorado Springs, I teach at Trampoline World off of Fillmore on the west side of I-25. I also teach down in Pueblo and up in Castle Rock, so I drive back and forth quite a bit. The benefits that I've seen, the main benefits in teaching for the past 6 years is that it builds strength and flexibility, obviously. It builds confidence. And you can learn to do something new. Does anybody have a bucket list? You want to try hanging upside down from some fabric for your bucket list this year? Come talk to me. It teaches grace and poise. I've watched, especially kids, go from being a little bit clumsy and not knowing, where their foot is compared to where their hand is, to having some really good body awareness and balance, and it's cool to see that transformation. You overcome fears. One of my favorite stories, there's this little girl, and she's now 12 years old, but she's been taking classes down in Pueblo with me for 3 years, and she's terrified of heights. Terrified of heights. And I've had to have so many conversations with her. Julia, it's okay, the fabric's gonna catch you. You just have to trust it. I know you're 10 feet off the ground, but it's all gonna be okay. But she's, even with her fear of heights, she's come up to one of the higher levels of aerial silks. And she's worked through her fears, and it's been so cool to watch her grow and watch her confidence blossom as a person. She's a little bit on the nerdy bookish side, and just giving her something to do where she can be pretty and feel strong and graceful has been really cool to watch. So that feeds right into personal growth. And this is for adults too. I teach adults a little differently than I teach kids, but I've seen adults grow in some really cool ways too. Just learning to do something, learning that, you know what, I may have thought I couldn't do a pull-up, but after I've been doing this for a couple months, look at this. I can do 3 pull-ups. That's cool. So I would like to entertain at any events where you feel you need unique and exciting entertainment. If you hire a band, it could be really cool, but chances are 2 weeks later, nobody's gonna remember which band it was unless they're absolutely fantastic or really famous. If you hire people to hang from their heels and toes, people will probably remember your event for at least a year and be talking about it next year. So, if you have any events, or if you or someone you know would like to try hanging upside down,
we will ask all kinds of questions about events, and you've got another 20 minutes to answer questions from the audience. Thank you so much, Emily.
all right. Yes?
6 minutes go really fast, don't they?
They do.
So you mentioned that you have a group that works with you, but it sounds like you do during the stuff during the day, the coaching and that kind of thing, kind of by yourself.
Yes.
Who are the other people and how are they involved? Do they just come in to do your events with you, or how does that work?
Basically, several of them are students or former students of mine who have just eaten the stuff up and love performing. And then one of them, my trapeze partner, is my boyfriend, and we perform together, and that's really fun. Yes?
I wanted to plug, if I could, is that okay with you?
Sure.
Because I've done a couple events that Emily has done, and they do a tremendous, business is about creating something that's memorable. Typically, we aren't very memorable. So creating something, so an event and creating something memorable that an imprint, an image on people's mind of why they went to your event, something exciting that happened to at your event. Emily does that. It's a tremendous opportunity to create a memorable imprint on the mind of people that you're trying to do business with.
Thank
Great
you.
job. We
Thank
thank you.
you. I'll go over here. Yes?
What did you do before your aerial? Did you have other skills or other, were you a dancer?
For money, or what's my background?
Were you a gymnast? Did you have other training before you became an aerial acrobat?
I get this question a lot. I was not a gymnast or a dancer. I grew up doing martial arts and women's wrestling. So that's my background.
So the strength and the confidence, those would play right into that.
Yes, but the grace and poise was hard earned. Yes?
So 10 years ago, I actually used to be somewhat of a carny with people that did this. I mean, I was a fire breather and fire performer, but I worked with a lot of people that did aerial, trapeze and stuff like that. And it's great to see this is actually coming where people are starting to do coaching, but one area I did see that you pointed out is actually fitness. And I know that a lot of new companies are coming up, pole dancing and things like this, where you really have to be fit. And we can see that you're fit yourself. Have you focused on promoting in that area as kind of a gym to where it's an artistic gym and it helps get you in shape and teach you this part as well?
So for adults, I hit that angle more. If you want to come and take my classes and never perform, that's fine. You're going to get in better shape. Like I said, you'll eventually, if you stick with it, you will be able to do pull-ups.
It's a lot of work.
More for kids, they're interested in doing really cool tricks and having a chance to show them off to friends and family. Way back there.
So, got the business, got the thing. What's it look like down the road? Is this scalable for you? Do you want it to be scalable? What's it look like a year from now?
Well, my goal this year is to double the number of performances that we did in 2017. Down the
How
road,
many?
We did 16 performances from April through December. So I would like to double that, which I think is a reasonable goal. Later on, my shoulders aren't going to last forever. I'd like to bring more people in, more students up, very professional, high-level performers, so that if something happens to my shoulder, I still have a company and I can still send people to entertain. So that's more of a long-term goal.
If you do, two questions, if you do corporate events, do you do advertising within that corporate event for the company that's hired you?
Like what kind of advertising
Like
do you mean?
the silks have the name of the company on it or something like that?
We have not done that yet. I would be open to it.
And the other question was, have you ever performed at Burning Man?
No, not, not yet.
It would be right up your alley.
Yes.
Do you have a mentor, somebody that got you into this world, or persuaded you to do it as a business? How'd you get there?
Do you want the long answer? So I grew up doing martial arts, and the owner of the studio that I did martial arts with is actually the studio that I started with in Pueblo. And ever since I was 15 or 16, he would go to the national karate competitions in Las Vegas, and he would see a Cirque du Soleil show, and he would come back and say, Emily, I saw this girl in a hoop, and she was twirling around, and she was strong and flexible, and so are you should do this. And when I was a teenager, I'd just be like, no, Phil, I like kicking people in the face. I don't want to do that. In college, I kind of ruined my knees running 5Ks with bad stretching technique, and I got to where I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't do the martial arts things I like to do anymore. And I was working in guest services down in New Mexico and driving up to Pueblo to train martial arts a couple times a month. And it got to where I came up to train one weekend and I was useless. I couldn't do anything and I was almost in tears. And Phil, the owner of the studio, kind of told me, you know what? This aerial thing that I've been trying to get you to do for 6 or 7 years, it seems pretty low impact on the knees. Maybe you should try that out now. And so I did. And he's an artist. He's kind of a visionary. He likes doing avant-garde things. And I got into it. And about that time, my mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So I was looking for a way to move back from New Mexico to spend more time with her. And Phil was like, well, how about we look at starting a program? You've been doing this for about a year. You're good at it. We've taken some workshops. Let's talk about doing that. So that's kind of how I fell into it.
I see what you did there.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
You know Julia Antoine?
Yes, she's my duo partner. I love her. Yes.
Do you have like a YouTube channel so people can go see?
I do have a YouTube channel, and if you go to my website, several of the best compilation videos are on there under videos. We'll go here first.
Tell us about your pricing structure, how you charge.
So it depends on what you want. For performances, it starts at $500 and goes up from there. $500 is for very basic, and then it goes up to $950 for full-length shows with 5 or 6 acrobats several times throughout the festival.
So like for birthday parties and stuff?
Birthday parties is a separate category. I charge $150 an hour, including setup and tear down time. And that includes all equipment and everything. Yes.
Have you done any reading on something called the experience economy? So we moved from an agrarian economy to industrial, and then recently it's service. But it seems like people are going beyond that now and wanting an experience, an overall experience. It seems to me that your business could fit in with Christmas, events for your company, board meetings, large company events and things like that. Have you considered being part of the experience that they're trying to create?
I have not done specific research into an experience economy, but that's kind of how I try to market to corporate people.
You might want to, there's some good books on that.
Okay.
Have you considered going to like grand opening parties for corporations operations and doing your business there to help draw more people out?
I have not done a grand opening party yet, just because it hasn't worked out. Sometimes people call me with really good ideas, and then it turns out they only have 10 feet of height. And I have to tell them we're aerialists. We really can't do anything with 10 feet of height. Yes.
What are your height requirements, and what kind of lead time do you need for an event? I mean, what's the turnaround on it?
For booking an event, or?
If somebody called you today,
Okay.
how much time would you need to?
That depends. I'm booking events out into September right now. I have a few booked in July. I have one in September. The next month and a half is pretty full. But sometimes it happens, I get a call and 2 weeks later we're doing an event. It just depends on what openings I have in my schedule.
And height requirement?
The height requirement for our most popular duo trapeze act, I need 20 feet or more. For hoop and silks, I can take it down to about 17 or 16 feet and still give a decent performance.
And that can be set up outside as well as
Yes.
inside?
Anywhere with a 15 by 15 safe floor space and 20 feet of height. Yes.
What's your requirement of times that you need to perform, like as far as minimum and maximum at an event?
That would be up to the event coordinator. I charge differently depending on how many performances they want, how many acrobats, how many acts. For fairs and festivals, which are our biggest clients, we typically do 3 shows throughout the day of about 25 to 30 minutes. Yes.
What's your most successful marketing tactic? Are you just using word of mouth? How do people find you?
Well, I do my website, I do social media marketing. So far, networking with other circus companies and then networking groups here has been the best word of mouth. People see me at one event and then they remember who I am and they contact me when they think of doing their event. Yes?
If I wanted to take a class like with some of my friends, how could we do that? Would we contact you, or do you do regular classes?
I do regular classes at Trampoline World. If you want to take the group classes, you can call them or walk in. I do Wednesdays beginner class at 5 and at 6. If you wanted to schedule a semi-private lesson, you would speak with me personally. Mm-hmm. Yes?
Do you offer Cirque du Soleil type lighting and smoke effects with your events?
I can't provide those things yet. I have worked with and will work with people that can. One of the most exciting events I have coming up is the first weekend in March. I'm with the Telluride's Aid Benefit, and they put on a Broadway style fashion show with the lights and the music and the smoke and everything. So I think it's really fun to work with those kind of events. I'm just not at that level yet with my equipment.
The people that hire you, do they have to arrange that, or do you have people that you would call if they wanted?
They need to arrange the lighting and effects, yes. Yes.
Your martial arts background intrigues me, and also the passion that you have for coaching and instructing people in it. So I wonder if you've considered using, borrowing from martial arts in sort of a club system where you instruct people and you get to rate them, not belts maybe, but like that. So you just move people along, because that would be like a scalable way to do it.
So it depends on the studio I teach. Where we started and developed the program in Pueblo, it is on a SASH system because we are based out of a martial arts studio. It's probably one of the most rigorous programs, so it takes more of a martial arts mindset. The people that are there to just have fun don't usually make it to the highest level in that program. The benefit is, if they do, they are fantastic performers and aerialists. Some of the other studios I teach at take a different track, and it's more just like, this is gonna be fun for everybody. It's not quite as rigorous, and you won't progress as quickly, but people tend to stay with it longer because there's a certain level where when it gets really hard, only the stubborn people will stick with it. Like martial arts.
We have time for one last question before our special question.
Do you think that the market would ever support an expansion of like your own gym?
Yes. Opening up my own gym takes a lot of startup money and capital that I don't have yet, and right now I'm working more on the performing side.
What do you think your startup capital needs would be?
I haven't even gotten that far. I got to where I decided it would be in the millions, and I just, that's a little much for me right now. I'm going to focus on the performing.
You want investors?
Super special question.
What can we do as a community to support you?
You can talk about what I do. If you know anyone putting on events in locations that have 20-foot ceilings or during the nicer months of the year, let them know what I do. Let them know that if I perform there, it is a memorable, exciting thing. Like my page on Facebook. Talk about me at other events. That's probably the best thing for me right now. And if you are feeling a little bit spunky, come take a class. Try it out.